So I was wondering, how likely is it for me to be murdered? Because if I go off the media as well as the TV and films, the chances seem pretty high. But are those odds really as high as they seem? And overall, what are the statistics of death? There are 131.4 million births per year. That means there are 360,000 births per day, 15,000 births each hour, 250 births every minute, and 4 births every second. On average, 55.3 million people die per year. So, about 151,600 people die every day, 6,316 every hour, 105 every minute, and 2 every second. If this data is correct, it means that the world population increases by nearly 2 people every second. The life expectancy on Earth is approximately 67 years. However, when looking at the US alone, that expectancy jumps to 78.8 years. For the purpose of this particular morbid look into death, we are focusing on the US, specifically the 2015 data released by the CDC. I wish I could give you a bit more recent research, however, this would mean applying to become a user of the National Death Index, which sounds increasingly dark. Also, these statistics would be a bit more accurate if we were looking across different years of data. But this is college try, not college dissertation, so just bear with me. How likely was I to be murdered in 2015? So, in 2015, there are 2,712,630 deaths in the US. One trend that has been found in the US over the past couple of years is that 75% of deaths are attributed to 10 different causes, and 50% of all deaths are attributed to just the top 3 causes. Number 10 is suicide, with 44,193 deaths in 2015. Then, kidney disease, with 49,959 deaths. An estimated 10% of adults in the US, more than 20 million people, are thought to have some degree of chronic kidney disease. Then, coming in at number 8 is influenza and pneumonia with 57,062 deaths. Next is diabetes with 79,535 deaths. Just missing the top 5 is Alzheimer's at number 6 with 110,561 deaths. The disease damages and kills neurons and eventually impairs the body's ability to carry out basic functions like walking and eventually swallowing. An estimated 5.4 million Americans have Alzheimer's. This includes 200,000 individuals under the age of 65. This is also the only cause of death in the top 10 that can't be cured, prevented, or slowed. In 2015, the cost of Alzheimer's in the US was estimated to be around $226 billion. Coming in at number 5 are strokes, causing 140,323 deaths. Every year, more than 795,000 people in the US have a stroke. And in 2009, 24% of the people hospitalized for a stroke were under the age of 65. Next is accidents, which covers a large range of causes of death, and is the leading cause for those aged 1 through 44, causing 146,571 deaths, including 47,478 from poisoning, 37,757 involving a motor vehicle, and 33,381 falls. Then the top 3, accounting for 50% of all US deaths, are chronic lower respiratory disease, coming in at number 3 with 155,041 deaths. This includes a number of lung diseases that causes blockage or breathing issues. This ranges from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease to asthma. Cancer at number 2 with 595,930 deaths. Lung cancer topping the list of cancer-related deaths. The top 3 for males being lung and bronchitis with 85,920, prostate with 26,120, and colon and rectum with 26,020. And the top 3 for females being lung and bronchitis with 72,160, breast with 40,450, and colon and rectum with 23,170. Finally, the leading cause of death in the US is heart disease with 633,842, accounting for 23.4% total of US deaths. That is almost 1 in every 4 deaths. This category covers several heart-based conditions and affects more men than it does women. As you might notice, murder doesn't make the top 10 list for Americans. Homicide accounted for 70,793 deaths in 2015. 12,979 of those deaths were caused by the discharge of firearms. This means that in 2015, if you died in the US, you had a 1 in 152 chance of your death being a murder. While this statistic is a bit better than I thought it might be, it also certainly is not reassuring. Homicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for ages 1 through 4 with 369 deaths, 4th for ages 5 through 9 with 140, 4th for ages 10 through 14 with 158, 3rd for ages 15 through 19 with 1,587, 3rd for ages 20 through 24 with 3,146, and 3rd for ages 25 through 34 with 4,863, and 5th for ages 35 through 44 with 2,895. But it doesn't even reach the top 10 for those 45 and up. Also, while going through the CDC's data, I discovered that HIV is still the 9th leading cause of death for those between 25 and 44. And spread throughout all these different categories for the causes of death, 55,403 of these deaths were drug-induced, 36,252 of them were caused by an injury by firearms, and 33,171 of them were alcohol-induced. So there you have it, the death ratio. Here we go. Burger Borts. Borts? Pork. Haha, you fooled me this time, 7. I got that number. Okay. cast bubble of hears. And I'm not throwing away my shot. Okay. You love me. Influenza. Infonomia. Wait, what is it? I knew that. I knew it. I knew it. I said it wrong. I couldn't think of it at the time. Pneumonia. Whoop, whoop, what? What is this doing? I feel like a YouTuber. This is YouTube channel. Urban Outfitters, you scoundrel. What did I do? I like it. Okay, I left my body for a moment there. Functions. It's a weird thing that someone can be DH1. Whatever. That's a lot of fucking 5-year-olds. Holy fuck. Okay. I sounded wrong to me too. Yeah. Account for... Hi. How you doing? 1,002... I did... That was such an aggressive cough. Words aren't words anymore. Homicide accounted... Homicide? Homicide. 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 We made it so far.